Okay, this is part three. Okay, and so as I was saying, we don't want to know anyone here personally in Annapolis. We don't have to say or pretend like we want to. We don't have to. Um, the Spanish speaking lab beasts, male and females that are here, we don't have to act like and speak Spanish to try to coexist with them. It's obviously something criminal is going on in reference to the immigrants here and those that are quote unquote not immigrants, but they are not naturalized either. So if you're not, so that means they were probably born on this landmass because of either the family members came here from somewhere else and then they had babies here, and or they go by black or white, African American, Negro. All that's the same according to constitutional law, but they're not naturalized to uphold the Constitution. They don't. So if they're not in the constitutional fold, then they don't have rights. They have privileges. So as someone who does have rights, I don't have to act like I want to know, befriend, or harmonize with someone from South Central America and Mexico. And when we move from here, it will be the same because it's not just Annapolis. This is a issue, a problem. It's a problem on this landmass, but it's also globally. It's globally because of the children who have the telepathic code that has been created first for sex and to have rituals done. Okay? This was what was going on with children, with kids that had the code before, the ones that were being able to get programmed. And this is what I see here too as well. You can tell when the ones that are being misused or abused and the ones that are not, or pretending that they are not. You hear me? So it is global. Just a few, not even maybe a few days ago, I was on the internet and this guy posted in Venezuela, I think it was Venezuela, they having an issue with climate. Something happened, maybe something, earthquake or something, and people are trapped underground. And the rescuers came to get them. But the rescuers, their people, they were pulling the children out and immediately saying your name is not, for example, Maria anymore. Your last name, we give you a different last name. And the mother and the women, the mother that gave testimony said they taking the kids as they act like they pulling them out for safety because they said give me the kids first. And the parents getting the kids, they say they change their name, they do a ritual, change their name, and the parents don't see the kids no more. That's it. That's nothing compared to what we have been hearing. That is not surprising. Okay? That is not surprising. I mean, they finding dead bodies of kids everywhere. Everywhere for years. Kids are coming up missing. And now it doesn't take a genius to know that they had the code and they were being used for sex and food. They were being used for sex, food, rituals. That's why those here that speak Spanish from South Central America and Mexico, not all, behave the way they do. Because a lot of them were born into that lifestyle. And so the United States government, which know this, know that they're criminals, they have a criminal mind, know that they have been used to send forth sharp pains, make people sick, just like the black Negro, the brother, and the female that they have created for years and put them in the population to make people sick, plant thoughts, mental disease, and so forth, mental illnesses. I'm pale skinned too, but Just I'm keeping them two together and other immigrants. So, but I want them to keep saying the black Negro because that animal is good at manipulation and playing the victim. So, nonetheless, the government, the United States government knew. They knew when those South Central American Mexicans came over here, where they were coming from, what kind of environment they were coming from. They knew that they would be the ones that would implement rules and not constitutional laws of freedom. They knew these animals would start dealing with AI, their AI, and other AI, demonstrating different forms of demonic rituals of sex and so forth with kids. Saying Freemason, they were gonna they were gonna implement that adoption quickly. Hold on. They knew. That's why the freaks here, not all are freaks and lab beasts from South Central America and Mexico, are so bold. Would you be bold if you knew you are an immigrant, but you might have your green card, but that green card can be um, taken away from you from criminal activity? But not if you already know you protected because the governments have already came to that agreement of what you are here for, and you already know what you've been used for, especially if some of them are being used by the Chinese, by China, by Japan, or even Arab countries. It's not too far-fetched to think that those from China are using immigrants that they find less fortunate than they are as terrorists. Well, they could be from different parts of Africa. For example, today my schedule is from 7 to 3. Okay. Now I want to say this. So many times I've heard the Spanish-speaking male accent say "nigger" here, or the nigger gotta eat, the more gotta eat. You hear me? And also, I didn't realize there was like a possibly Asian accent. But definitely I've been documenting. I said Japanese, but I was documenting and also spoke of how people in Whole Foods, I was like, or even in the past, just walk by and nod their head like they're from Asia, pale skin like they're from China or Japan, nod their head. I was like, what is wrong with them? They're not Chinese, and we're not speaking Mandarin. We're not. I'm not speaking that tongue. We're speaking English. I'm not demonstrating I'm from that culture. Why are you nodding your head like you from China, like you from Japan? Now there are two ladies from Japan that I said that also I hear their accent here, but it's not. I'm not accusing them, but accent that sounds like them from Japan. I already said that they call it Natsu and Serenia. I'm not accusing them, but definitely sounds like them, especially around Imani in the middle of the night. Like they're trying to take his energy, like they're trying to take my energy. I'm not accusing them. Now like Serena will look at me and nod her head and say hi, but I think, well, I don't know for sure. I think they are from Japan. I don't know for sure. But nonetheless, I'm not Japanese. It's just like someone that speaks Spanish saying hola to me. I don't speak Spanish. Spanish is not the first language here. I don't speak Spanish fluently. I speak a little bit. So I don't have to say hola. Okay? If I learned to speak Spanish, it's because I want to broaden my education in language, not so I can adapt to a culture and maintain my employment at the job. Because if I don't act like I'm going to adopt to that culture or lay down with one of them, not accusing Whole Foods, then I'm going to get fired or lay down with their AI. So, I mean, when I saw the lady giving testimony about them taking kids from the wreckage of, I think it's an earthquake or some type of natural, if it's a natural disaster, I don't know. I don't. It was implied that it's not, but people were being stuck and they were fighting for their lives, and then finally people came to get them, and they took the kids and did a ritual by naming them another name, and they never saw their children again. The parents never saw their children again. I am just saying, here I am. I'm telling you, it's not just a small group. It's like so many of them have that same behavior process through these years, and then hearing them say the bird people, I'm finding feathers under my bed. Hearing the frequency in my apartment saying we paid, I paid. So when when I hear that we speak Spanish, or it could actually be an Asian as well, saying nigger here in the apartment, this accent, it brought me to the thought what happened today. Today is July the 11th, 2026. I had to be at Whole Foods at 7. So when we have a schedule before Whole Foods open, or we have to go to a certain door and we have to know the code to get in. I try my best to not allow someone to come in after me, because if I allow someone to come in after me, I don't know if they have the code, or if it's an ex-employee. I might have seen them at Whole Foods, but with the Whole Foods emblem, but they might not be an employee there anymore. And at this point, I'm skeptical of anything that looks too odd. So I'm just going to be careful altogether. So as I was about to make a right to go down the hill to go up under the parking, so I can do the code to get in. I saw a black guy who looked like he was from Africa. I have seen him at Whole Foods before. Who looked like he was from Africa, walking down the hill, and he was just smiling as we were walking towards each other. I'm about to make the right to go down the hill. He would have to be, so if he's about to make a left to go down the hill. But he's looking at me smiling. And all the while I'm starting to feel 4 sharp pains in my feet, in my knee. All right. I see him. He has an accent. Not just look. He has an accent like he's from a country from Africa. I'm not sure. He's very dark and tall, and he walks in front of me. I'm feeling 4 sharp pains, and as he's walking in front of me as though. So he goes and he gets to the door before me. Just maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 feet away, not that far. And like really fast, punched the numbers in, and it didn't let him in. He said, "Do you know the code?" I said, "I'm not giving you the code. I'm not going to let you in." He said, I work there. You see me there. I said, "I don't know if you still work there. I don't know you. I'm not giving you the code." And I'm telling you, he called me a nigger. Okay. And he said nigger, something. I said, "Listen," I said, I said, "Are you trying to?" Because I was still walking towards the door, and I paused. I said, "Are you trying to wait for me to punch in so you can to punch the number, open the door so you can walk in behind me? I'm not going to do that." So I stopped. I stood there. I was like, I'm just gonna have to be late before I let him come in after me, because I don't know if he's still there. I'm still working there. But interestingly enough, as we were both walking towards the door before this conversation happened, a car came driving behind me and him and parked quickly, and it was a black male. He looked young, and he came and he had on a looked like a Whole Foods jacket and quickly punched the number in. And as that last conversation ended, he was like, I asked him, I said, are you trying to wait for me to punch in so you can come in behind me? I'm not going to let you come in behind me because I don't know if you still work for Whole Foods. And he called me a nigger. And then he said, don't talk to me. Then I said, okay, just as long as you know I'm not I'm not gonna punch in punch that number in for you to come in behind me, and I could be doing something illegal for you to come in because you're not supposed to be coming into Whole Foods. But the guy came in, the black guy, the young black guy, he punched the number in, and the look definitely looked to be from Africa, ran in behind him and went in. I didn't see him none at all today. Where he worked, I don't know. I didn't see him at all. But I was feeling four sharp pains as I walked up the stairs. Got punched in the number, walked up the stairs. I felt four sharp pains as I walked to the bathroom. This is what I experience when I go to Whole Foods as I go up the stairs, and many times just doing my duties. And I didn't see him not one time today at all day long. I didn't see him at all. So what I'm trying to tell you is, I'm not saying he's one of them. What I'm trying to say is that China or other foreigners definitely collaborate. I don't even want to know if I want to say use, because use always imply that someone is a victim. And I'm telling you, these criminals that's involved in sex and human trafficking from South Central America and Mexico are not victims. They are very clever, they're very smart, and they've been doing it for a long time. They know how to use different form of psychology and go from one emotion to the next, just like the black Negro, they and others. So I don't want to say China, because yes, you say China, it's like, woo, that's a big country compared to those immigrants from South Central America and Mexico. You don't know how much money they have. You don't know if they have gone to China, saved money, and became rich, and they're working under somebody else that's working with other Chinese from their country. We don't know that. We don't know how wealthy their AI are. Their humanoid AI. Islam? If they're bold enough to start me and my son here in a land where they were not originally from, and probably not really originally from any land, some of them that are lab freaks from claim to be from South Central America, Mexico. Why should they be considered a victim? Or the kids? Because when you're dealing with kids with the code that has been amalgamated in a lifestyle of sex and human trafficking, they've been programmed. What they are, I would have to see a change, an experiment where one does not behave in such a manner after it's been programmed to be that way and have been programmed to do heinous crimes all their life with no remorse. Kill people, send for sharp pains, rape, molest someone who's not able to defend themselves, attack them while they're sleeping. These are terrorists. That's a terrorist. Trained terrorists. And then have a job, a 9 to 5, demonstrating themselves to be what we would think an immigrant that's working to make a better life for their families. But all day today, I did not see the guy who looked to be from Africa, West Africa, anywhere in the store. when I saw him walking towards me down the hill as he was about to make the left, and we go down the hill to go up in the parking lot, he was just looking at me, smiling as I was experiencing sharp pains. On the on July the 6th, was it? Yes, it was July the 6th. My manager Corey, she said she needed to speak with me, and she took me into the conference room to talk to me. I said, I just listened. She said, um, basically, she said there was a complaint that I yelled at somebody, and that they said they just cannot work with me no more. I said, I yelled at somebody. And then she said, yeah, and you talked to someone in a very rude way, or in somewhat I offended someone, and they told her that they cannot work with me no more. So I automatically I went to a situation because recently we had a huddle, and Kevin, the guy that I said the accent sound like that's like using some form of technology to follow, and I'm experienced pressure right here in my forehead. It's not, I'm not accusing him, and besides someone like the frequency is literally trying to make my vagina have an orgasm constantly, or literally cause or massage my vagina in the public. I've experienced this actually as I was demonstrating myself as an employee at Whole Foods. But nonetheless, I'm not accusing him. But Kevin, the team member, and where the accent sounds like, that say he's from Mexico, he he gave us a huddle, not maybe not even a week ago. And he said that we had lost a lot, quite a few points. I wasn't there that day when the inspector came and inspection was done, but the inspector came and lost, and I wasn't there, but lost a lot of points. And I was like surprised, and he started naming changes that needed to be done. And one of the things he said, even I think a little bit before that day, um, he said that everyone should wear a cutting glove, because he said, I don't want to see no one not wearing a cutting glove. And ever since he told me that we are supposed to wear two cutting gloves as we clean the slicer, I've wore both of my cutting gloves. At first, I almost like it was hard. I was only wearing one, like many of them still do. But then I definitely wear two. I have two. I got the reason why I got two is for another reason, but I have two of them. So I definitely wear my cutting glove. But we had a safety meeting just not too long ago before we had that huddle about the inspector taking away points. And anyway, the safety meeting was dealing with safety, because I think someone just anyway, and just safety. I'm just gonna say that. And he was explaining the importance of the cutting glove, and he said he pretty much basically, I mean, straight up and said he don't want to see us not wearing a cutting glove. I don't have the problem not wearing my cutting glove. I mean, I put my cutting glove on. Okay, I bring two cutting gloves so I can clean the slicer. Everybody doesn't have two cutting gloves. I don't know why, but I know I wear two cutting gloves to clean the slicer at night. So I went to two situations automatically after the meeting with the huddle about the inspector um, taking away a large amount of points, which I consider a large amount because this never been brought up to me before about the points being taken away. I wasn't there that day, but because the huddle of those points, I was like, okay, um, Yeah, I think so. It was July once again, the 6th. There's a new guy. I don't know where he's from. If I saw him on the street, I would think he's from China. He's been there for over 2 months, so he's had approximately. Actually, he worked with me, and I worked with him a few times with this other guy that I haven't seen in a while. He said I think he spoke Spanish. Um, I haven't seen him in a while. I don't know if he still works for the store because I haven't seen him in a few weeks. He's the one that was like telling me his father um, works for the CIA. I mean, he was. I mean, he only been there for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and he was like always trying to talk to me. And then one day he told me that his father worked for the CIA. I was like, why? I said, can you not tell me anything personal about your life? I mean, he like, I mean, he was like, it was like he was. I mean, I mean, why would you tell someone? It was some other things he did odd too. I mean, like literally just trying to engage, and then he told me his father worked for the CIA. Anyway, I documented it. So I haven't seen him in a few weeks. I don't know if he still works for Whole Foods or not. I just know I haven't seen him in a few weeks. I don't think he do. I'm trying to recall that anyone say he doesn't. I don't know. He came at approximately the same time. The guy that looked, if I saw him on the street, looked like he's from China came. So after that meeting, last week I think it was about the inspector, and we lost the points. I wasn't there when the inspector came once again, but um, I was in the huddle. July, make sure I keep saying the right date. July the 6th, I worked from 2 to 10, and I worked with the guy that looked like he could be from China, and another new girl. She says she's from Annapolis. If you looked at her, you would say she's African American. I don't know. That's all I know. So and I don't know their real names or if the names that they give me are Israel. I just know what they tell me. One lady, the lady, excuse me, that says she's born and raised in Annapolis. Her name is Brielle, but this is correlates to Sheep Dwayne Baffle Bay, Spirit Noble Jolie, the meeting with Corey, which is my assistant team leader, that happened on July the 6th. I mean, that happened on the meeting happened on July the 9th when I came back. But the situation that I could only think about why we having the meeting had to be on July the 6th because I'm usually not assertive. I was assertive July the 6th because of the huddle about the inspector coming and taking away so many points. Um, One of the other new girls, I don't know if I'm just going by what she say, call her name Marie. She speaks Spanish. I worked with her earlier that day or a day before, but I noticed she was leaving her cutting glove next to the slicer. And this is after that meeting. So she was taking off her cutting glove, and I would see it next to or on the counter, next to the slicer. I mean, I've seen. I think others have done this too. I assumed it was Natue, the lady that's from Japan, doing that too, but I'm not 100% sure it was hers. So anyway, because she's new, or implied to be new, I told her, I said, I don't think we're supposed to do this. That you're supposed to leave your and I said this in a polite way, your cutting glove on next off your hand or just on it next to the slicer or on a countertop like this, because this is been on your hand. We put food all over the counters. That's what we have to wipe, sanitize, and so forth. We are constantly cutting using that counter, the cutting boards, the cutting board for the for and just that counter for food. And she said, okay, but I said, I'm just saying this. I don't think we're supposed to do that. And that's it. And then she did it again. I saw her do it again, and I said it again politely, and I was like, I don't think so. We supposed to, and I brought up the inspector in the huddle. I said, because I think the team manager said that we lost so all these points. So I think we got to be very, very careful because the inspector could come. I told her, and she's implied to be a new person, and I said, I think we've got to be very, very careful like that. So I told her just in that tone, okay. Um, the last time she left it, I took the glove, which was the day we had the meeting. Um, Corey called me to the conference room and had a meeting, and I put it in a bag and I put it on the monitor station. So she left it on the counter again, and I just put it in a bag and put it on the monitor station. But nonetheless, I brought that up. I said I told Marie about that, but she didn't seem offended. Well, the second time she was like, okay, Renee, like that. I said, that's when I said I'm just thinking about the inspector and what Kevin, the team leader, said. That's all. And I said, okay, that's it. But she didn't say like she was upset. She was just like, okay, like that, you know. And she still left it there. So what I did was when she left Whole Foods. And the glove was still there on the counter. I went ahead because I looked around, saw she wasn't there. I think I asked somebody, nonetheless, she was gone. So I took the glove and I put it on the monitor station. And put it in a bag and put it on monitor station. The next day she came in, I told her, I said, I put your glove inside the bag on the monitor station. It's over there. And I think she said, oh, thank you. I'm not sure. I don't know. That was the day that I had the meeting. She left early that day, by the way. I had the meeting, so she came in early, or she was there early when I got there, or however, she left before I had the meeting. So, but when I saw her, so I think she came in. She came in then, because I think I opened. Let me see so when I came in, I came in at 7. No, she was there. Hold on. Anyway, she was there. She had to be there, but the glove was still there. Maybe she didn't know. I'm not sure. Maybe she came. I don't know what time she came, but she left early one of the days. I mean, she left early that day. From 7 to 3:30. So I had the meeting with Corey that day, which was the 9th of July. Um, so nonetheless, so I thought about that, and I brought that up to Corey, and she brought up how um it's not possibly sanitary to have your gloves in your pocket. Also, she said she see people putting their cutting glove in the pocket, and I thought about myself because I have black pants I wear. On my black pants, we had there's 3 pockets on one side, 3 pockets on the other. Each pocket I use for specific things only. Like one pocket I use for my cutting glove. Okay, I don't put nothing else in that pocket. That pocket is cutting glove only. So I have 6 pockets altogether. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on each side. One pocket is for my credit card or bank card or whatever. The other pocket might be for pads because I have to keep pads. And that will probably be the pocket along with the pocket that I keep my bank card in, are the most not clean or unsanitary. Even though I have wrapped up, but I also have a book with my pad or whatever. So what I'm demonstrating is I make sure that I keep my cutting glove in the same pocket. Nothing else go in that pocket. Okay, nothing else. But in the meeting, Corey mentioned about, I think she said something about, I would probably put gloves or I cutting glove in a bag. So what I did after the meeting, I just started putting my cutting glove in a bag, then putting it in the same pocket. Okay, but so I brought that up to her about the cutting glove because I was trying to figure out who complained. I was like, what did they say? I mean, how did I say it? What was said? She didn't tell me what the person said, exactly how it was said. She just said they felt demonstrating they felt offended. She said I yelled. She wouldn't say who it was. She said she don't want to say who it is. She said, if you remember, we had this conversation before. The first time we had this conversation was dealing with some similar with the only thing I could fall back on was the lady that her name is Natue, or Nasu, and her daughter. And I said something to her about how she was always like saying, being mean and or saying rude things about how I would do, like get the trash can, like I wasn't intelligent, or something. I think I told her, I said, I'm doing this my way. Why? I mean, is there something? I told her, I said, have I ever offended you? Why are you, I think I was really just trying to get her to talk to me about what am I doing so wrong? Where she talked to me any type of way, even called me Mo. Okay. She's one of the ones who called me Mo. And, anyway, someone, I don't know who complained, but, there was a meeting, with her, and a meeting just me about something, as though I did something, um, um, like rude, and, like I was aggressive. And that's when I brought up to them, it wasn't just her, it was Corey, Kevin, the team leader, and another lady that doesn't work there anymore. That took me back there and said that. I said, that's when I brought up Mo. I said, I think I need a representative because I don't know how am I being, what did I say to whoever that's complaining? And once again, they wouldn't say who it was that complained. And I was like, what? And I was like, what did I say? And the only thing I brought up again was when I was trying to see why that not the way was addressing me as Mo, or being just kind of like completely rude, like I didn't know what I was doing. I think I was like, I had a trash bag next to me, doing it differently than how she would do it or something. I don't know. It was in. She was just like really. I mean, like she still do sometimes. Just try to be more clever at how she does it, or how she talked to me. But sometimes she does just get out, just write out and be rude, like I don't know what I'm doing. I experienced this at Burger King, so I just stay humble because I know, for example, crypto is about to go up. Many people know that crypto is about to go up. People such as myself may have money that they didn't have before. And so if I know that, Whole Foods know this. If I know this, Burger King knows this. If I know this, Annapolis know this, just like other people know this, okay? And the issue through the years have been, those that speak Spanish or that which is here have demonstrated how they wanted to somehow make it difficult for me and my son to maintain financial balance. Okay. So even though she still say things or behave in a manner that's obviously offensive, and I pull back and stay humble. Okay. It's not because um I couldn't say anything, but ever since the situation I brought that day in that meeting, I said when they were saying when they said that someone complained, and the only thing I could think of was dealing when I asked not to wait was like what's going on. And I thought it was Matt, because even Matt, who also I've heard the accent here, but not accusing him of that accent being his. Especially when, I mean, in the shower, I've heard it around here. Heard people say something about Imani, Matt gonna do something to my son. The accent. That's how. If you hear the accents in the shower, you know what I'm talking about. Islam. So if you hear the frequency that I record in the shower, you already know what I'm talking about. So I thought it could be him too, and I just was trying to figure out because just like a day or two ago, or before that meeting, when I brought up, I said I need a representative. Okay, I think there's not balance here. I'm dealing with people calling me Mo at my job, and my name is not Mo. I'm not in a set with no one here named. I'm not a Mo. I'm not in a set. I'm not in a group with anyone here at Whole Foods. So as long as in other words, I'm saying as long as people are calling me or addressing me by Mo, I think there's an imbalance for me to be in this meeting and having this meeting. Okay, something is wrong. But anyway, oops. I'm not worried about that. Um, so as I was on the ninth with the meeting, she said, so I brought up Marie with the cutting glove, and she said she can't tell me who. Um, she was just basically saying that the person was offended, said I yelled. Okay, so and I did that with Marie. Once again, I even with them being new, when they asked me, or I didn't want to put myself out there to be a trainer towards them. I was humbly directing them to someone like Matt or Dennis, other employees that were more Dennis, someone else. I don't know if that's his real name. Once again, I don't know if Matt, that's his real name. I'm only going by what they tell me to call him. So that's been there more experience or help train me, because I just didn't I just felt comfortable taking the passive road. And I told them, I said, if they tell you something, or if I tell you something doesn't correlate with what they say, or if you have any questions, and just let me know. You see I'm doing something different, just let me know. It's okay. I won't be offended. Just let me know. I'm just really trying to stay humble as much as possible. I learned to do that no matter what. So if they start asking me a lot of questions or whatever, I say, let me take you, because even through the years that have been and still is, there's still confusion about what should be done and what should not be done. For example, if some things have been adamantly said this should be done, then it switches up. So one person does not do it. I don't know if that person ever gets reprimanded, but they still don't do what they're supposed to do when it's already said to do it that way. And it seems like they're able to get away with it. But I don't do that. I just make sure I get I get the knowledge from the source, which is assistant team leader, but overall the team leader, which is Kevin, and then assistant team leader is Corey. And I go by what is told to me, whether I see what they're doing, which all the time, and sometimes we make mistakes and we forget, especially if it's a new procedure. But sometimes, I mean, it's obvious that person's like, I ain't going to do what I want to do because I can. And, so that's between them and whatever else. I mean, I don't do that. I don't have that attitude. I'm not going to have that attitude. And I'm not going to allow myself to fall in that trap of Mo and thinking, because I hear them saying Mo, that it's all right for me to have that attitude. Islam. So then I said also, and I said, well, if it's not her, don't. I said, and once again, I was like, I was like, I don't think she was. I just listened to her explain. It's like the Whole Foods um, um, definition of respecting one another and stuff like that, and and so forth. And then I started thinking to myself. I said, well, um, hmm. I said, well, also I said, on this, this past, I told her on the 6th, they, on the 6th, the guy, he said his name is Cam, or Camden. I don't know if that's his real name, that looked like he's from China. Um, it was me, him, and the other new girl. She said her name is Brielle. Um, I'm only going by what they said. Was closing. We had three people. Was good. We usually have only two, so with three was good. But they're new. Well, Camden's not that new anymore. I mean, it has to be over 2 months now since he's been there, approximately. So, and could be more, but and I'm under the impression that he has some experience, but I'm not sure. But all I know is that that night he shut down the turkey slicer. There was food up under the turkey slicer when he was done, and around the turkey slicer. And I told him about it. I said, we can't, I said, Camden, I'm going to clean this food up now, but you have to clean up under the turkey slicer because of bugs. I told him about that. And I was usually, I'm so many times, even that I try to take the passive road because I don't, after that meeting with, I don't know, and I had to address the word Mo. I just said I'm going to be quiet because I was seeing so many things happen that was totally opposite what was said in huddles, and they were still doing it. So I mean, the only thing where I really tried to say something more about is when they kept trying. Someone would would definitely try to spray inside the chef case, and when we still have food in the chef case. And I don't know if they just didn't know or whatever. So I would definitely say something. And I said, and I had to, like, even if I was like, I'm just saying, and I just, like, Lord, just really just, stay humble. I really don't think we should spray the chef case because you hear that vent, the air is going. Kevin did say that we can spray the towel and then wipe the chef case, but we should not spray and with the food there. So that was definitely cleared up. And some other things. Okay, so like the green Brillo pad on the slicer. That has been talked about for a little while now that we should not use the Brillo pad because it leaves residue. The new girl Burrell said that she was told it was okay to use a Brillo green pad. She said this that night. Um, that I spoke to Cam about leaving because he cleaned the slicer, the turkey slicer, but there was food up under the slicer and around the sides. And I told him, I said, you have to wipe all this up. You have to lift it up. You have to wipe. You have to. Oh, and behind there was food too. I said because of bugs. It's hot. It's because of bugs. And um and I was finishing up the pork slicer, and he wiped down the slicer where the in-house turkey was and the that end, and there was food stuck all in between the cracks. A lot of food. I usually use a spoon to get the food, and I said, Camden, this because he was there. He cleaned that side. He started cleaning that side, and he was it looked like I guess he was done because it was time for him to go, and Brielle was cleaning the downside. And I showed him. I said, "Look, let me show you." And or the middle. He's part of the middle, I should say, of the showcase. I was like clicking it, pushing it up, clicking it. I was like, "You see all this food?" I mean, I had to. It was a lot of food, and that's why I use a spoon and a brush. And I just said, you have to clean up. I said, one day, I just said, I'm just saying this. And I did it, and I was in this tone. So one day you might be a trainer too. You might have to show the next person. But I just want you to see. So about the food because of bugs. So if food stays in the chef case like that, just like food is left constantly um, in the around the slicer, or if you clean the floor and you really don't clean it well, so you sweep, you just do a little sweep, but you don't clean up under the low boys. You don't and then you mop, you just throw a little water down, but you don't really do a hard scrub up under the low boys, around up under the monitor, move stuff around. Food gets stuck back there, and that too attracts bugs. And I have not seen roaches in the chef case. But I don't want to ever see roaches in a chef case. I haven't seen bugs in a chef case, but I don't want to ever see that. So, and with it being hot, and now it is hot. We're in the state the month of July. It is easy for bugs to be attracted, and I said it in humility. That's so I thought about that, and I told, and she said, you know, everybody's culture. When you're dealing with different cultures, people take things differently. When she said that, I didn't know because she never said the name, but I once again I felt like I was on the target by saying that, because earlier that night with the guy that looks like he's from China named Camden. I mean, not just that night, but other nights. Sometimes he just walks around like he writing notes, and I was wondering. I was like, I wonder is he writing notes about me? This I used to experience this at Burger King, where they were especially with the EEOC, and when I was trying to maintain hours, not get fired. I'm living in a hotel and we got to pay every week or every 2 weeks, you know. Uh, I used to experience that at Burger King. So that night, um, he had a, I don't know if he what kind of notes he was writing down, but I've seen him writing down stuff before. So I didn't know. I truly didn't. Didn't know. But that, you know, that night I noticed he was doing that then. And sometimes he just seemed like. Sometimes I wonder because he walks around. Sometimes I was like, I wonder is he connected to a supervisor? I'm not sure. But he was hired. I started seeing him when the other guy was there that I haven't seen in a while, who said his father was worked in the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. But then I said, you said someone said I yelled that same night. Okay. So Brielle, which I made a mistake and called her Brianna. I don't know why, how I get Brianna, but I've done that like once or twice. But I've done that with other names, and I say I apologize. I apologize. I don't know why I called, and I told her the first time I realized I called her the wrong name. I said I apologize. I just kept saying I apologize. I've done this before, and another employee and employer. Just I have to sometimes when I'm busy or just really tired and I'm talking really fast, I have to slow down. And I think that's what happened. She said it's okay, it's okay. Even that night, so I don't know where Camden was. Maybe he was close by, but I think I was trying to get her attention. She was in the kitchen. I was on the front line. She was in the kitchen. She was making, I think she was making broccoli crunch and bacon, but she was in the kitchen. So in order to talk to her, because the kid, she was over there, way over there on the table. I said, Brianna, not Brielle. And I said, when you get a chance, I think I said I needed help. I think I needed help from customers. I'm not sure. Anyway, she came around the corner. She was like, and by the way, my name is not Brianna, it's Brielle. I said, oh gosh, I said, oh, I apologize. Thank you for. I deserve that. I tell her that. I said I deserve that. You right. I made a mistake. I said I'm so sorry. I said I must be tired. You know, and I kept apologizing. I said, you know, I don't know where I get Brianna, and because we even had the conversation about Rihanna. Because I was thinking, for whatever reason, I was thinking Rihanna. But she didn't seem offensive after, you know, we laughed. And I said, you know what? How you came around the corner and said that to me, I deserve it. I said, you're so right, because I got to get these names right. Sometimes if I pause and just say hi, it's because I might be rushing or whatever, and I don't want to say the wrong name. And nonetheless, it was a mistake. But she did not seem, I mean, she literally was smiling, and even with Rihanna, she brought up Rihanna again. And I was like, oh, she just, she was smiling about, so I was like, she didn't leave as though I offended her. I just kept apologizing. And I even like said, you are right. I was like, you are right to come that way at me, because I should have that name right by now. I'm not calling you Brianna. I don't know why. I think I said singer. She said no. Her name is Rihanna. I said, yes, that's right, Rihanna. and So I was just getting names all mixed up. I was just probably, and I told her I when I'm tired or speeding and so forth. But I was laughing and smiling. She did too. We sort of just went along with it. So I was like, where? I said, that's the only time I was assertive. Um, I think I asked her, I said, be careful with the meat because of bugs. I was saying, I think I definitely brought up the bugs again about leaving out the bugs. It was either her or Cameron. I said, please be careful with the meat because the bugs and it's hot. We got to make sure we keep the meat away. But the only reason why I even that said these things is because of the meeting just that week before. Otherwise, because of so the odd things, I've been so passive. But I decided to be more assertive because of the meeting, because of the inspector taking away so many points. And if I wasn't still being addressed by Mo, by some, on a slide, I wouldn't even brought it up about the last time we went to the meeting. But that right there says a lot to me. That crypto is about to go up. People who have struggled with finances for a long time are able to actually have a little more than they had before, or even a lot more. I'm in a city where, and I'm not accusing Whole Foods or the situation, but just the fact that the word Mo even came up at Whole Foods is not good. That is a bad implication because I experienced that at another place in Annapolis that is totally opposite from Whole Foods. It's a fast food restaurant. Whole Foods sells organic food, and it's a grocery store. It sells organic and conventional food, where Burger King is a totally different. It's fast food. Um, it's it's food. That's the only common. I say common customer service. But as for saying Burger King and Whole Foods are together in a company like Amazon, for instance, Amazon and Whole Foods are, where Amazon has partnered up with Whole Foods. Some, I think, and some, I don't know the legalities, but some have said that Amazon brought Whole Foods. That's not the case with Burger King. Burger King hasn't brought Whole Foods, as far as I know. The only thing I would say is people nodding their heads like they're from China. Because when I called the EEOC, or Japan, when I called the EEOC while I was working at Burger King, I got a call from Hong Kong. I think Hong Kong is connected to China, if I remember correctly. Why would I get a call from Hong Kong? I was like, why is someone calling me from Hong Kong? This is when I connected the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. It's the United States government Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and it says United States government agency. Okay, I think, and I think the one I was connecting with was